Hi, this is Dan. I thought I'd capture a little video this morning of some Harry Potter Wizards Unite. So here the first thing I'm going to do is encounter this purple thing, which is an oddity, and this one turns out to be a doxy. So you have to, with oddities, you have to sort of fight them. And then you cast the spell to disable them. And if you knock them out, do enough damage to their hit points, you sort of capture the thing. And you get this little reward system going. So obviously it took me a while to get all 25 of those. And once you capture enough of them, you get to put them in your little scrapbook kind of collection thing. And you get, points and so forth for doing that. And that lets you level up your skill tree with your wizard powers and so forth. And there it goes. That was the 25th one of those. So it's been a while since I've started collecting those, so I'm pretty happy to finally get that one in there. Now here I am at the Washoe Bridge over the Willamette River here in Eugene. This is one of our the bike bridges that connects the bike and pedestrian paths across the river. And here's what it's like in the game. So there's an inn about 3/4 of the way across, and you can activate this thing. You get some spell power. You basically need a point of spell power for every spell you want to cast. So, every attack in combat or some other things, you need a point of spell power. So you've got to go, walk around the world and visit these inns and collect the spell power. Otherwise, you can't really play the other part of the game. And then in addition to the inn, at the other side, there's a greenhouse, which I'm going to go into, where you can get ingredients for your potions, and also sometimes you get some spell power here as well. And unfortunately, my ingredient thing was full, so I didn't get any. And here you can plant seeds, and if you wait long enough, basically you come back, the next day or whatever, and you can get some more potion ingredients that way. And then also here on the bridge, I'm encountering what they call a foundable, which is basically in the story of the game. There's this weird magic spell that has spread all sorts of crazy magical stuff all over the world, and you've got to go collect them. But they're all protected by other different crazy magic things. So I'm trying to collect this this golden case thing with these pixies are in the way. So I had to banish the pixies with a spell by sort of tracing the pattern on the touch screen of the phone, and then I managed to get Dumbledore's memory cabinet, or at least a fragment of it. So yeah, in addition to the oddities, this is actually the main part of the game. It's just going through the world and collecting these weird magical things. And here's another shot of what things look like from the bridge. It was right around sunrise at the time, so obviously you get the nice colors in the sky. Yeah, so part of the reason I like these AR games is it helps motivate me to get out and walking and get some exercise. And here's a different part of the path system where I'm approaching. Here is another inn. So we're in this area so that we can do some wizarding challenges, which we're going to get to in that place on the right. But whenever you pass an inn, you want to collect up some spell energy, because you tend to use a lot of it in the game. And we're definitely going to use some in the wizarding challenges, because we're going to have to fight some bad guys or some evil creatures. And so we want to collect up spell energy whenever we can. But we're going to go over here to this the scale model of Neptune, which is something along the path system here. We have just placed at to scale from the actual solar system. We have just these little things like how far the planets would actually be. It gives you a sense of scale for the actual solar system, which is pretty big. But we're going to go here into the Wizarding Challenge. So this is the other main subsystem in the game. This is kind of like the combat we did with the Doxy earlier, but this is kind of like a little dungeon full of combats. So you go in and you sort of select the level of challenge you want and sort of and this is, technically it's cooperative, but there's no one else here with me, so I'm doing it solo. And once we get in, we'll see the interface here. So in this one, we're going to have to defeat 3 enemies, and the first thing I'm doing is drinking this potion, which gives me some resources to cast these charms and hexes. So I put a hex on this guy so that whenever he defends or attacks, he'll take some damage. And that also boosts me a little bit as well because of some of the things I've done in the choices I've made in my skill tree. So there we attacked him, and then he also, I think, took some damage from the hex. We hexed this guy as well. And you know, it isn't always pixies. Usually, you know, there's a couple different enemy types. I've seen pixies and werewolves and acromantulas, and, dark wizards, and maybe 1 or 2 other things. But this one, we just happened to get a bunch of pixies as the enemies we need to fight. There we go, pixies. I mean, I've gotten decently good at it now, but usually they're not as tough, but they sort of zip around a little bit, so it's harder to aim your wand at them. So we defeated all 3, and we get some rewards. And basically you can kind of grind through these if you want. It's sort of a, you know, it kind of lets you focus on this this little mini-game aspect, the combat aspect of the game. And I find it kind of fun. But the main point of the game is mostly just to sort of give you a reason to go to places, and I find that helps me when I'm walking to just be more motivated.